Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. We mentioned the challah, okay? So if you have an icy cold challah that you want to warm it, don't put it straight onto the blech, okay? Blech is the metal that is on the fire or the hot plate. Why not? Because there are some ice in there. You put it straight on the fire, it melts right away, it cooks. You cannot really do it unless you wipe it or let it warm a little bit, okay? And then you can put it on the plata, on the hot plate, no problem, okay? That's regarding challah. Some say, by the way, that because it already was baked already, you can put it on the blech until it's very, very warm. Some people, though, like to make it so crispy and in a way it gets even better for them. This is kind of a problem. But to warm it until it's very hot and until it even gets hotter, it's fine. As long as you don't make from this sucharik,
croutons.
Unless it happened by mistake.
Unless it happens.
Thought of it.
Sure.
Because I burned some stuff by mistake.
Before Shabbat, it's allowed to put on the blech food that is not ready completely, even though it will continue cooking during Shabbat. Okay? Let's say you did chalent halfway, not all the way. Okay? You can put it on the blech before Shabbat or on the hot plate, and it's going to continue cooking, right? Then we'll talk about stirring inside, and this we'll talk about soon. If the food was not prepared before Shabbat or was just starting to its cooking, it's not allowed to put it on the blech. If one sees this pot on the fire or in the stove, he has to take it out. Basically, you don't do osvo or chalent that's not cooked. You just put water and some vegetables and some stuff inside and let it cook for the next morning. What eggs is not about, but I'll come to the eggs in a second.
Most important.
The violation of cooking on Shabbat is nothing to do. Okay, this I said with the lighting fire. This I said. Let's continue from here, and it goes like this. Something that you cooked, let's say a soup. Okay, you cooked it, was 100% cooked, everything was fine, but it got cold. Okay, now you cannot warm it, as we said, to the point that hayad soledet, that it gets so hot that your hand is burning. And if somebody does it, so chayav mishum mevashel. It's like he was, making this prohibition of bishul. And this is when we speak about soup type of food. Okay. A dish, a food that is cold, was prepared 100% before Shabbat, okay, but was in the refrigerator. Can you warm it on Shabbat? That's the question. Can you put it on the hot plate on Shabbat? So, if this dish, this food is dry, it's fine. As we said before, rice, it's okay to warm it, put it on the blech or on the hot plate, it's not a problem. If it has some, let's say it's a piece of meat, okay, that has some liquid in there. Liquid, it's a problem. Sauce, it's a problem. But if it has some fat in there, naturally meat has some fat in there, they say it's not a problem to put, if it has some fat on it, on top of the hot plate, even though this fat will melt. This is not a problem, it says. But if it has liquid, if it has sauce, okay, this we're not warming to this point. This will be, okay, I say that. Something, okay, now we'll talk about tea, how to make tea or how to make coffee. Usually, when we want to make tea on Shabbat, we prepare a hot urn, okay? Samovar, dud, mine, water, so that you're going to have hot water for the whole Shabbat, okay? We usually make tea essence before Shabbat, you know, this the color and the taste of the tea before Shabbat. You take few bags of tea bags, okay? You pour boiled water on top of them before Shabbat. You can have different tastes according to the family, whoever likes what. And whenever you make tea on Shabbat, first usually we pour the hot water from the urn into a dry glass or cup, okay? And then on top of this you add this tea essence. This is how we usually do tea on Shabbat. It's important to wipe the glass or the cup so that it won't be wet, because you cannot pour boiled water on top of cold water. There's a kula of Rav Ovadia Yosef that says that if it was washed, this cup was washed, and it has some water in there, you have to shake it as much as you can until nothing is coming off, even though it's not wiped completely, and then you can add hot water into it. But it's better to wipe it so it's going to be dry. Okay, this is regarding tea. Now there are a few names here that we call kli rishon. The first utensil, kli rishon, is the urn, the hot water, where the source of the heat is. Kli rishon will be the pot on top of the hot plate. Okay, this is kli rishon. There is kli sheni. Kli sheni means you pour hot water from this urn into a cup. Okay, this cup with this boiled water inside now will be kli sheni. On kli rishon, the first one, the source, it's cooked and boils and everything. Kli sheni, okay, it's so much easier already. Usually it doesn't cook on kli sheni, it's easier. Now we're going to speak about kli rishon, kli sheni, and even kli shlishi. Okay, the third one, where we take from the second cup and we pour to the third cup. Okay, we'll talk about these things now. One is allowed to put the tea bag into a third utensil, kli shlishi, and pour hot water from second utensil onto it. Let's say you didn't prepare tea essence for Shabbat, you forgot to prepare, or it's finished or something. So then you take from the urn, you put into the first cup. From the first cup, okay, it's called kli sheni already. From this cup, you put into another cup, it's called kli shlishi now. Now this kli shlishi, you're allowed to put the tea essence, the tea bag in there, because kli shlishi already lo mavashel, it's not cooking, and it's so much colder. It's not like the source of hot water, so it makes it easier. So this is how we do if we forget to prepare the tea essence into the kli shlishi. A cooked food that was on the hot plate before Shabbat, it's permitted to take from it some food, but not to stir it, not to mix it. Okay? But if the food was not ready completely, one isn't allowed to take from it at all, even though the food isn't on the fire anymore. Only if it's cold. Why? This is gzera. Gzera shema, he may stir. When you see that the food is not ready, you may mix it and you want to make it ready. So even you cannot do this. Kli sheni. A second utensil doesn't cook, so therefore one is permitted to put food on it that wasn't cooked to warm it, but not something that cooks fast, like raw eggs. Okay? One is also allowed to pour cold water into hot water in the second utensil. Not a problem. You want to make coffee, right? You pour boiled water into kli sheni, and then on top of it you can put milk, you can put cold water, you can put whatever you want. No problem already. On Shabbat, it's not allowed to put food that isn't ready on a cold electric plate that will work later by a timer.
Really?
Again, you're not allowed to put food that isn't ready on a cold electric plate that will work later on by a timer. בסדר? We cannot cook on Shabbat. A pot on the fire that the lid was taken off to check if the food is ready and it's not ready. Let's say somebody took off the lid of the chalent of the osovot and it's not ready. It's not allowed to cover it again. And it's not allowed to bring it closer to the fire so that, let it cook. Let it,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, when you put it down, you cannot pick it up.
Well, we didn't talk about touching and moving it around yet. I'm just saying, if you took away the cover, okay, and the food is not ready yet, you cannot put it back.
I thought you can just wipe it.
This is when it's cooked.
When it's cooked. Okay.
Yeah, when it's cooked. Because as you put it back, you cause it,
More.
getting ready.
This is rabbinical or what?
No. Word of Shabbat.
Oh.
It's not allowed to preserve by salting on Shabbat because some say salting,
Cooks.
it cooks. So it's not allowed to put salt on a salad or some pieces of vegetables together. Once you have, let's say, a plate, a lot of pieces of vegetables, so you don't pour salt on all of them to mix it. But individually, if you need, you're allowed. It's permitted to return pickles and olives back to their jars because they were preserved in salt before Shabbat. If you need to make a salad on Shabbat, okay, we'll talk about cutting and all this later on, but if you need to make, so first you do it closer to the meal, you cut big pieces, we'll talk about this later, but then you add oil before you add the salt. This is not a problem. Okay, you add oil. Olive oil is healthy. With tomatoes, always goes very good. So olive oil and then salt. Yeah.
Rabbanit, I was adding juice from the pickles into my salad to make salt. Is it okay?
Yeah, it won't preserve it. It won't preserve it. If it's closer to the food, it's
Yeah,
fine. If to the time to the meal, it's okay.
What about vinegar? Are we allowed to put vinegar inside salad? For Shabbat.
For Shabbat,
Put olive oil, I put also. Let's say I put vinegar inside.
Like a salad dressing, like for flavor,
for flavor.
not for the purpose of making them soft.
Okay. As close as it's closer, it's like salt. It's the same. If it's closer to the food timing of eating, it's okay.
It doesn't have to be only olive oil. You could add
No, of course, it doesn't have to be olive oil. It could be any oil. It doesn't have to be oil.
No, I'm saying it could be lemon juice.
Okay, lemon. Yeah, it could be lemon. Squeezing lemon. We'll talk about. When we're allowed to squeeze, basically on food, and if we're talking about lemon, let's say somebody wants to squeeze lemon on top of tea. What do? Hot tea. It's a problem to squeeze the lemon on very very hot tea, but once it's cooled off, or you put it on a different clay and everything, then it's okay. I'll come to it in a second. It's written somewhere here. Yeah. It says, Nachon leachmir, it's good to make this restriction, not to squeeze lemon into a very, very hot tea, as we said before, because it's considered a sharp food, the lemon, and it cooks even in sheni. This is this type of food that are cooked very fast, very easy. So as long as it's very hot, but if it's not so hot, the tea, you're allowed to squeeze on it. How do we know on a tea? They say if it's hot or not. If you first cool it before drinking it, it means it's very hot. If you don't have to cool it and you can drink it right away, it's called not hot.
Oh, good.
This is what they say.
Good trick.
It's allowed to put mint, nana, into the leaves of the mint, into a hot tea. Just have to be careful, to clean from, make sure no bugs and stuff, but it's okay. Okay, so this is said. Yes. Next, we cannot put spices into a clear rishon. Into, let's say you have a pot that's cooking on top of the hot plate, or even you removed it from the hot plate, but it's the clear rishon. They say even if you remove it from the hot plate, it's still cooking inside. So you don't put usually spices in there unless it got cooled and it's cold already. Then you're allowed to add salt or whatever thing you want. But if you take from the clear rishon, from the source of the main dish, you take from there and you put soup, let's say, into your plate, then you're allowed to add spices if you want. You're allowed to add even things that were baked before, croutons, bread, or anything into this hot water, no problem.
So if the children you cook, then you can't put salt on. Let's say if it's not enough salt and you cook and you taste it.
So
you're not
everyone
allowed-
can take to put into their own plates.
And then
And the plates is not a problem because already kli sheni, but not to the main dish. To the
Not in the pot.
not
If you
into
put
the-
it in the langri, then you can add the salt already, but
right,
not when it's still in
it's
the
not a
pot.
problem because it's already second
maybe
kli.
it's okay.
No problem. The kli sheni is not the source anymore. It's a kli sheni.
But it's boiling.
Even though it's boiling, it's okay. By the way, it doesn't say here, but greens the same. Some say that greens, even though I say the mint, some say the greens they cook very fast, and so into the pot with the soup, you're not going to add the greens just before you serve, but you're going to prepare a nice
bowl.
plate, a bowl, and whoever wants is going to put into their plate, even though it's hot boiling water, tea, soup, but it's okay. It's already kli sheni, it's not a problem. So this is regarding this. Okay.
What if the fire went off? Can we call a goy to turn it off?
Yes,
Ah,
that's the
שאלה.
question.
Okay.
Happened to me.
Let's come to it soon. You're allowed to pour cold water into a cup that has hot water in there because it's a kli sheni. It's not a problem anymore. So you're allowed to add also, let's say, cold milk into coffee. Not a problem. Some say the milk was cooked already before, so it makes it
Can you do
also
vice versa?
easy. Huh?
Can you do vice versa?
No, we don't put first cold water and on top of this
Hot water
warm.
usually.
No, first the warm. Now, if you want to warm, I said that right? No, if you want to warm milk for baby, so what we do is you take a big cup or a small utensil or something. You put boiled water from clear rishon, okay, and put this bottle with the milk inside. It's going to get warm.
But you
slowly,
can add
slowly.
hot water to a bottle of
Yeah,
milk.
yeah.
But if you put milk in your coffee and now it's not hot the way you like it, it happens to me sometimes, you can add hot water because it's not a cold thing, right? You can add more hot water.
After you put the
I made myself a cup of coffee, I added milk. I tasted it, it's not hot. So I want to add more hot water. I could put more
I
hot
think
water.
so, yeah.
I have to do from a different cup.
It's better.
Better.
It's better.
It's no
from cup.
problem to cook the coffee because the coffee is already pre-cooked.
Some say that it's cooked, but it's a nice restriction to have. To always have in your mind. First, you always put the cold. I'm sorry.
Water.
First, you always put the hot water, and then you add the sugar. Even though the sugar was cooked before, and even though the coffee was cooked before, and even though we put it, it's a nice thing to do it afterwards.
Unless you
Yes.
do kli shlishi.
Kli shlishi, no problem. Okay. Also says, but here's a kind of a problem. It says, let's say you had milk for baby that you warmed it before and it was very hot before Shabbat and got cold. He says you're allowed to put it on the plate, on the hot plate, to make it a bit warmer, but not to the point that yatzoletet. Here's the problem because usually a hot plate is basari, so I don't know. Beitzaraka, a soft egg, it was cooked, but just a little bit. It's a soft egg that you pour boiled water on it before Shabbat from kli rishon. You're allowed to pour on it boiled water mikli rishon that is on the fire to make it warm. That it says because it was already cooked from before Shabbat. Whoever got up in the morning and sees that the cholent or the osvo is about to burn, okay, so you can take an empty pot and put it on top of the blech and take this hot the cholent and put on top. Don't put it in meanwhile here or there or until it gets cool or whatever. Straight on top of this pot, the empty one.
But the empty pot is gonna burn. It's gonna burn. Главное keep it cool. На блech поставь, ничего не будет.
Он нагреется.
You mean like the bottom, like get black?
Yeah.
Unless
Only gets black if
If it's like a
something is
stainless steel,
inside.
I don't think so.
a tray that we do, a tray that we bake on.
Like a tavnit.
Tavnit.
If
Yeah,
you
so
flip
you
it
can
over,
take
right?
this. You can take
So
this.
something to separate.
Something to separate, so it's not going to be so close to the fire, or put it away. If the sides of the hot
You
plate,
like it there?
Huh?
You can move it?
you can move it. Some say that in the hot plate you're allowed to move it.
No, no, black. What about black?
Blech is different. Blech, to take it from the source of the heat to put it away, it's not a problem. To bring it closer to the source of the heat, that's a problem in the blech.
If it's already cooked all the way before Shabbat,
Doesn't matter.
still?
If it's wet, we cannot do it. If it's dry, it's not a problem, as we said.
But it's like, it's not wet liquidy, but it's not like plov. It's like a thick or so I have. So it's not liquidy, but it's not.
Juicy.
Like sholet.
You don't. You get used to the idea not to touch food, not to
mix
not to mix. I didn't even speak about stirring yet. Not to open it and see what's happening. Whatever happened. You cannot really change. You cannot really do anything about this, and don't do it because you're going to have all kind of members of the family in your house. It could be your mother-in-law. It could be. A sister that comes or one of your children, if they see that you touch the food and they don't know, so they do it too. They don't know all the laws and everything. Get used to the idea that you don't touch the food on Shabbat. Whatever happened already. That's it. And Baruch Hashem, you have the experience and you have the so don't touch the food if it's not needed. It's not allowed to pour boiled water into a food that you see that is going to get its stomach, that it becomes very hard already. Even after it was taken out from the fire. Now, there's something interesting he says here. If you pour in one shot a lot of water, okay, into that pot, then it says it's okay. But we don't touch it and we do these things. And Bediavadi says if it happened and you did pour some water into that pot that is not on the fire anymore, okay, so then you can eat from this food. But it's better not to do it. He himself says that. Okay, now covering food. It's called hatmana in Hebrew. Hatmana means when you take a pot and you cover it from all sides very tight. It could be, he says, there are some things that add steam to the food. There are things that do not add steam to the food. For example, used to be, today we're not aware of this, but it used to be that what are the things that can add hevel? Hevel is this steam. Waste of olives, he says, or waste of sesame. We don't have these things today. Salt. If you put into salt, a lot of salt, you cover the pot completely with salt. it adds
It'll
warmth
boil, yeah.
to the food. Some other things as well, sand and some other things also can add warmth into some weeds, some all kind of stuff that they used to know back in the olden days how to do. There are some things that don't add steam. For example, this is what most people today do. Piece of cloth that you wrap the food with, a blanket or pillows, they don't add steam, they just keep it warm. So there's a difference between these, okay? So we're not allowed to cover food on Shabbat, okay? Tavshil cham, it's very hot dish, shayat soledet, if you touch it, your hand gets burned. בעודו בכלי שנתבשל בו, as long as it's in that dish, in that pot that you cook with. So on Shabbat we're not allowed to cover it completely this way. This is what it says. But if it's not so hot, was cooked already, was put aside, it's not so hot, or you, let's say, poured it to a different pot, it's okay to cover it this way, he says, with things that do not add any steam, like blankets and clothes. You're allowed to take hot water from the urn, okay, or from, if it's on the blech or on top of the fire, a hot plate, into a thermos to keep it warm. It's okay, even though you're going to cover it and close it, the thermos, it's okay to do it. It says. It's allowed to take hot water. It's allowed to take the rishon, the pot with whatever the hot dish inside, to put it into another pot to cool it down. So you put cold water into the other pot. You take this hot one and you put it inside the cold one. It says it's allowed to do that. It's allowed to take a large spoon or a ladle, food from the food itself, from the hot pot itself. But whatever you need, let's say you want to take it for your child, you're allowed to take it, but you cannot mix it, you cannot stir it. It's not allowed to stir it.
Can you cover it back?
When you're putting the cover back, when the food is completely ready, you cover it quickly, you wipe it quickly and put it back. Yeah, it's okay. If it's not cooked like you said before, you cannot put it back. You cannot take, he said, you cannot take food from a uncooked dish, even though you took it out from the fire. Gezerah shemagis. You have to be careful, people may stir it, mix it, it's a problem. Okay. This was if you put some clothing or a blanket or something that you usually put on your food on Shabbat, just on top, it's not called hatmana. It's not a problem. Okay? It's not called hatmana. Okay. Now if we take a pot, can we return the pot into that plata or hot plate? Is it allowed or not? Whoever takes on Shabbat a pot from the fire, from the hot plate, and the food inside is completely ready, okay? He's allowed to return it back into the place, okay? As long as, of course, a blech is when there's a metal on top of the fire, so the fire is not seen, it's covered always, yeah? Because you cannot put it you cannot touch it when the flame is open, because once you remove the pot, the flame goes more. It's a problem, you cannot touch it. So betnai, in a condition, you're allowed to put it back in a condition that the pot, that the food is very, very hot. You didn't even put it anywhere, you were holding it all the time. Okay, you can ask somebody to help you to holding one side on the other side, so that you can put it back right away. Don't put it anywhere on the floor or any place that can get cold. And he says like this: to a hot plate you're allowed to return a pot, because it doesn't look, שאין דרך לבשל על הפלטה. The people usually don't cook on a plata. Now I realized that there is a difference. When I used to go to Israel, whether it's to my daughter or to my own apartment there, from some reason the hot plates are not really hot plates there. Here, let's say if I'll put raw eggs just before Shabbat, it's going to be brown the next day. Over there it stays white as is. It's not cooking. I don't know, maybe the electricity is not so strong or whatever. So there is a difference. Here some hot plates are cooking very, very strong. And so it's not that easy to take food, to put them back. If you don't have to do that, if you can serve to the family and everybody eats in one shot at the same time, it's the best. Then you don't have all these problems to return. You're allowed, you're not allowed. But in any way, you want to take something from the food, somebody should hold it. You're allowed to take from this, to put it and cover it, wipe it, put it back. You need help of somebody so that you don't put it here and there. It doesn't get cold.
You're directly allowed to take food off from the blech.
Yeah.
Like if there's a pot of borscht and you just want a few spoons.
Pot of borscht, it makes it so much easier because it's dry. Right? So dry, you can put it back. It doesn't matter.
But you could take directly from the blech. Just open, take a few spoons. And
You don't have to take the pot off.
No, yeah, you can take it directly
okay.
from. That's not a problem.
What if it's
We're
stuffed?
talking about the food. Stuffed.
back.
All these are liquid, juicy, right? So it's same like osvo. You cannot stir anyway, so it makes it
Can we
easier.
take it?
You're taking it.
You move it down.
Somebody is holding the pot for you. Okay, somebody's holding. You're taking a piece. You wipe the lid. You put back quickly. You make sure that the pot is still hot. Food is still hot.
Can I put it just half of it on the blech and half of it is on the stove?
Some say that it's okay, as long as your mind is returning it right away and it's on the spot. Even if it says before that a food that was 100% cooked before, you're allowed to return it to the hot plate. If there are some bones in that pot, now bones from chicken, because bones from meat usually they are hard, and as much as you're going to cook it, they're going to stay hard. You cannot really enjoy the juice inside, right? But from chicken, if you want the bones to become even more softer, to enjoy the inside of it, so you cannot really return it. If you really want to enjoy the bones, if you don't care about the bones, so you can return it, not a problem. I heard a rabbi today talking. He said that Rabbi Feinstein, he wrote that because in America, in Israel, people like to eat the bones. In America, people don't care about the bones. So if they don't care about the bones, you can return it and eat it. So that's what it says. Okay, if the gas, the stove, was turned off from some reason, or the hot plate, there's no electricity from some reason, stopped working, you're allowed to take the food to a different plata, if you have a different plate, if you have plate, if you have next to you, as long as it was cooked 100% and everything was okay. But if it has liquids, as we said before, okay, so it has to be still very warm. You cannot put it as it got cooled off, or you cannot go to neighbors until you go to a neighbor. Neighbors here are not in the same building. It's a problem until you get there, and it could be a problem. Okay. Yes. Let's see if I finish. Any question now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Let's say I invite somebody
Mhm.
and she wants to bring her rishon. She brings her rishon. It's walking distance of 10 minutes. We covered the rishon with towels. We put it in a bag. We brought it home. Now she wants to put it on a platter. And now if I tell her don't put on a platter, she gets offended. So now if she puts on a platter, she's allowed to serve us as we say or no? Let's say assume the rishon was cooked before Shabbat.
It was cooked, prepared.
Before Shabbat.
Mhm.
And now she brought it to my house and she put it on the blech. She put it. She is allowed to serve it or not? Are we allowed to eat it? But until now I didn't know this halacha.
It's interesting.
The food is hot.
The
I saw the food was hot. Yad soledet.
Yes, Olena.
But it went already in one thing.
Maybe you could do with the second pot, like you said, maybe not
It didn't go
directly.
to any pot.
You can't put it anywhere before
The
you put it.
rishon pot that we brought all the way to my house. Are we allowed
I'll
to
ask
put it?
that. I'm not sure if you're allowed to do that. I'll ask that. Because you say it's a walking distance. She was walking a lot. And even though it was covered and everything, to put it back on the doesn't look to
So it's
me
a
like
problem, yeah?
it looks like it's a problem.
If it's
I
Yad
had a
Soledet, it's gonna be Yad Soledet
like
until she serves.
Should we record it?
Huh?
You wanna continue recording?
So, בסדר? You okay with this? Yeah? טוב, בעזרת השם, if we're talking about food, let's just finish with one story. I was looking for something with food, and I remembered years ago, when I was younger, I read this. There were two friends, very, very good friends, Rabbi and Antoninus. Rabbi Yehuda Anasi was the head of Israel, and Antoninus, he was a Roman Caesar. And they were good friends. Their friendship goes back, from their childhood when they were babies, right? So one day he was invited to. He knocked by Rabbi Yehuda Anasi. It was Shabbat. He came and he saw everybody's eating, and he wanted to